Welcome to The Seed
And the Roots podcast.
where we explore the truth beneath the surface. And today's truth might sting before it sets you free.
That's right.
We're talking today about toxic masculinity and
Toxic femininity.
not just the buzzwords, but the real stuff that poisons Black love, Black families, and our freedom. And we're trying not to judge, but to do what? We're hoping to
Cleanse.
cleanse. Because healing is not about blaming men or women. It's about breaking cycles and reclaiming our wholeness as individuals and as a people, I think. So pull up a chair. Let's unmask some stuff. Okay? So where did we learn this stuff about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity? And I guess I would ask you, what is your understanding of toxic femininity? Let's start with that. What's your
Toxic
understanding?
femininity?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my understanding is basically like, it's where you have a certain level of emotional manipulation women can participate in, weaponized softness, internalized misogyny, just certain things that can be a bit narcissistic in quality that are a bit under the radar, hidden, that we don't really talk about when it comes to modern day relationships.
I think is the phrase toxic masculinity perhaps gets a lot more play than toxic
definitely
femininity.
We're made more aware of it.
More out there, that idea that men are hyper controlling, that men shut down, they don't talk about their feelings, that they just want to dominate and control.
Climb down on people, right? Yeah, but that's not necessarily always the case.
That's not always necessarily the case. And there is toxic femininity.
Of course.
Where women do, instead of clear communication, use their strategies, use emotional manipulation to get what they want, to assert control, but it's not in such an obvious way, like you say, where their softness is like, hey daddy, and before they meet a man, they're like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent, with men that they don't even have relationships with, men who have not yet even committed to them, but they're already asking for money.
Right.
I grew up in Dominica, right? And in Dominica, there's actually a phrase that's very hard when you think about it. The phrase is break his hand.
So what does that mean?
To get his money.
Oh, okay.
So
come with that first. Expect that first.
Like there's some women who will teach their younger women that the way to be in relationship is to learn how to break his hand.
Right.
And to break his hand means to be able to get money from him. We have people with podcasts like Sprinkle.
Right.
Sprinkle has some great ideas, but one of those concepts is to see a man only as a provider, and that if he cannot do that provider role, he's a dusty.
Right. A bum.
Right. Yeah. Like just useless, worthless. And so I think some of these, there are cultural layers to it. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think we have any of these ideas about our masculinity and femininity that came from our history?
Perhaps slavery. I'd say slavery was probably, I think a lot of this is the byproduct of what happened during the old chattel slavery days.
How so?
If you think about it, back then we were not able to love each other the way that we wanted to.
That is true.
So,
from a practical standpoint.
I'm talking about man, husband, marriage, union type situation where it's like a family is able to be made and sustained, like a nuclear family.
Because
where it's like you have both lineages together, you got grandparents involved, cousins, aunties, uncles, everyone involved in the same family like dynamic.
Because from a structural perspective, if families are being separated, right? If husbands were being separated from their wives and their children at any time,
Right.
at any time, and people knew this, if the man of your house, who in most cultures we're taught masculine is the head of the home, right? Masculine is the protector and the provider, right? If the person who is supposed to protect the unit is being beaten in front of them,
Okay.
destroyed, forced into submission in front of them, ooh, if that person is looked at as property, the person who in your home you've got to psychologically submit to, if that person is brutalized, emasculated, and stripped of their ability to protect families, I can see how black men learned. Black men on this side of the waters, anyway,
Right.
because it's a different experience in Africa. I can see how black men overcorrected to a hyper-masculine, no softness, no emotion, only strength, dominance, control.
Right.
Because what? Vulnerability.
Is weakness.
And who would want to show their weakness to somebody who's bent on breaking their spirit?
Right.
Like I was thinking about like the old slave movies, and I stopped watching slavery-based movies.
Yeah.
When was the last? Django was the last one for me.
Django was, yeah.
Django Unchained was the last one for me. I said I'm not going to sit through and watch black people get brutalized and hurt.
Right. This is too much.
It's too much. I mean,
And
that experience is over.
It's a reflection of the past, you know.
It's over.
Yeah.
I don't want to live through it. And I wasn't even there. So I cannot bear the pain of watching that. But I'm thinking about like these Mandingo movies. There's one that's like burned in my brain of this really strong man being boiled. You know what I mean? In a big old pot, like the sugar pot,
Dang.
you know? Yeah. And they would do these things. They would quarter black men. They would have horses tear them apart.
Right.
Imagine that happening to your dad.
Like, that's too much.
Too much. And to your husband. That's too much. And that could happen
That's
anytime.
trauma right there. But that was the intention.
That was the intention. Why? The intention because...
I mean, first of all, if you emasculate a man, especially the head of the household, that's going to make sure that the children down the line aren't able to properly grow into who they need to be.
Because their covering gets removed. Their protection gets removed.
Right.
Not just physical, but psychological. It's that was mental warfare. Because just watching it, we learn by observing and seeing. And I don't have to be physically the one experiencing the trauma to be the one traumatized by watching. Yeah? It's similar to me saying and us saying, I'm not watching these movies anymore because I don't want to be vicariously traumatized by it. So the manifestation of that long term is culturally people learn how to be just stoic.
Right. And, just more rigid with their emotions.
Rigid.
And yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm so stoic, it's easy to express anger.
That's right.
Yeah. Right? As opposed to, I'm sad. Yeah. I must lead. I must dominate, or else I'm
Weak. Right.
Yeah. I think for some people, like for some of our men, something like therapy is like it's like death.
Yeah. Where it's like opening up to someone else is more difficult than an actual hard thing.
But you have had the experience of therapy. What's it been like for you?
Therapy for me has helped me get through a lot of my issues. Therapy has allowed me to relearn myself in a sense from someone else's perspective and gain clarity and insights as to what I need to be doing in order to be the fullest me, the best me I can be.
the highest and best version of yourself that you can create in this moment.
In this moment.
Yeah, understanding that that is evolving, you're evolving, and that you might change your mind about who you want to be next week, next year.
Yeah.
But to know that you have the freedom to do that. Yeah. So talking about femininity in Black families and Black communities. So okay, so now there you have the remnants of the family, right? You have the feminine enslaved Black woman enduring forced labor. When they say femininity is about rest and
Right.
softness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Life, the broader life perspective is femininity is about vulnerability, and it's safe to expose your weaknesses in front of masculine energy so he can protect you and take care of you. But enslaved Black women enduring forced labor sun up to sundown, having to bear their babies in fields, when most people, it's like, take care of me. You watch other people experience their pregnancy, and it's such a time of adoration and caring for, and what do you want? I'll provide
Right.
this for
That
you.
emotional nurturing.
Yeah, but Black women did not have that, right? Sexual violence,
Yeah.
the same family separations. And so what happens after the father is separated from the home? Who has to become
The dad. Well, I mean, you can't really become the dad. It's like you just become mom times two.
mom times two? So there is an overcorrection too now.
Yeah.
And you have the strong Black woman trope, right?
Yep.
Archetype being created, where you're raising children under trauma without support.
Right.
So these things were taught because after slavery ended, I think psychologically some of that did not get healed.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Like, I think a lot of our men, that part, like somewhere, I don't know if it's encoded still in the DNA, or if it's a psychological thing, or we learn from watching, like just seeing how easy it was for men to leave the family. I think a lot of our Black men are working through that. I think so. I think a lot of our men, and the women, that's my position on it, in response, that strong Black woman archetype continues. Do you see that in women around these days? What's your thought on that?
The strong Black woman archetype?
Have you seen that in me throughout our life, throughout our course of life together?
I think the strong Black woman archetype, it says a lot without really having to say a lot. And you can really interpret it different ways depending on where your background is. For me, when I saw you in the house, I didn't really think strong Black woman. I thought just mom. Like, I just enjoyed your presence. So,
in the conversations today,
in like referring to this strong Black woman archetype, it's a difficult topic to talk about, to be honest, because you have the one perspective where it's like a strong Black woman, right? Like, why do you feel the need to be strong? Like, what's making you feel the need to be so hard? But then you also have the perspective of understanding what women go through on a daily basis and being like, okay, yeah, this is a situation that needs more care and consideration.
more thoughtfulness when we're addressing
emotional
it.
receptivity, when you're addressing a topic like this, and that's not to be like a simp or be like, oh yeah, I'm on women's side. No, I'm on the side of the realist, so just realizing that we both have strength. Both men and women have strength. Both Black women and men have strength. It just shows itself in different ways.
I think that's so important to address at a time like now, when within the Black community, you're hearing a lot of talk from younger men about their masculinity, but you're hearing it often in what I think many women are experiencing as a painful way, or maybe the words they're using are highly painful. Like there's a lot of talk about you want to be independent, you don't want a man, you don't want to be submissive, single women, you've been ran through. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And
I did notice a rift though when Trump came on the scene.
for real?
When he got elected, yeah.
This time or before? Because that's been going on.
This recent time, I took notice of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you think it ramped up?
Yeah.
But it's been going on. I think with people like what's his name, Kevin Samuels. He's passed away now, but he had a very big podcast in the what you could call, I guess, I don't know if you could call it in the manosphere. You talk about the manosphere, but I don't know if it was there. But it was just very big, and the way I agree with him on some aspects that indeed many black women do come off as independent and unbreakable and
Right.
always in control, or wanting to always be in control. But I think the way, as you just said, the way that it's been addressed, I don't think it's always been in a thoughtful way. I think it's been in a very harsh and punitive, well, there, you deserve to be single, you're fat.
Right.
You don't deserve a high
This and
value
that,
man.
right, yeah.
Without always considering the factors that contributed to that expression of femininity in the black woman. I think for me, the root, we talk about the the seed and the root.
Right.
The root is always important. Like we gotta look at where things start, so that if we need to go in there and clear things up, we can clear things up. Because one way that women suffer, I think, from not being able to express our softness well is exhaustion and emotional shutdown too, and resentment in relationships, and guilt when you ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you say you never looked at it like, well, my mom's divorced now, so she's a single
mom, or people they do a lot when it comes to this stuff online. But I think it's because everybody's trying to express their voice. But a lot of people, they're unhealed. So they do it in a way that's toxic, not only to themselves, but to others.
To the whole community.
Yeah.
To the whole community. So we're not being as thoughtful, I think, as we need to in the way that we're addressing that particular issue. Yeah. Do you think the church has any impact on that conversation?
The church.
Like the way it's taught us about femininity and masculinity.
What are your ideas on that?
Well, I think in a way, yeah. I think some of these models of masculinity and femininity, we actually learned it from the European church. We learned it, where the woman is supposed to be put up. So that's the teaching. The teaching is gender. Women are supposed to be almost untouchable in a way.
Like
You're
pristine
supposed
and
to
perfect.
pristine and perfect. You're supposed to be obedient, and holy, and that sexuality in women is actually dangerous. Yeah, black parents taught us to be very
By the book.
by the book, prim and proper. A lot of harsh correction, whoopings, beatings. Everybody's got stories of whoopings and beatings. Yeah. So there is that purity idea and emotional repression in the European colonization.
Do you believe there's a value in that, the search for purity, or that need for purity?
I do think
but
so.
I think that the issue comes in when shame gets involved.
Voila.
Yeah.
So there's a lack of balance. When you infuse it, when the way you try to correct it, if you see it going outside of the ideas that you had about it, when you use shame as the measure, right, as the correction, you add some other layers on there that make it really complicated. And I think we have to consider that. I think we have to consider that. I think this has led to things like homophobia, and watching women's individual ways they want to express themselves as dirty. I think we have a lot to unpack about femininity and masculinity and how to be yourself. How to be yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, well, how do we transmute that? How do we change that? How do we start to address some of that? Back and forth, especially within the Black community, about masculinity, femininity.
I think the number one thing we need right now is awareness. Like focusing on the actual issues, the actual topic. Like not just arguments and bickering, bantering, like actually having healing conversations regarding, the situations and the issues that are facing us and that we're facing.
Understanding it better.
And being willing to face them together.
Being willing to face them together, as opposed to pulling apart. Well, it's my way. I have the answer.
Right.
And you're a fool. You're a fool. I'm just not going to be in a relationship anymore. Because I'm hearing that a lot. Like, you have huge conversations about women divesting themselves of relationships. We're just not going to be in a relationship if this is the way you're coming at me.
Right.
Which, I can understand that. If a person is coming and asking you, like I saw in one of those relationship shows, this fine young man is asking this beautiful young woman, you willing to be submissive?
Right off the roots. That's wild. I think when it comes to submission, like you don't really need to ask. It's just something that comes naturally. Like if the woman's going to submit, she's going to submit. But even the word submit, I guess, like gives a bad taste in people's mouths because of slavery. That's my personal belief. A lot of people think when people say submit, they mean like, oh, I'm gonna lord over you and I'm gonna like make you do my bidding type stuff.
What do you think submission is about then?
Submission is, as a man, you're supposed to be the head of the household. So what that means is, being willing to lead your wife, your spouse, and your children, to the best of your ability, And I think that's just the way God had intended it.
Well, what if the woman does not want to submit? You think?
Well, she doesn't have to be married. She can do her own thing.
Boom.
But
that is true.
There's different strokes for different folks. You find your person at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you find your person, and the two people create the kind of relationship they want.
Yeah.
Because a relationship where you have, which is kind of like, it's called a covenant relationship, where you can have a covenant that I'm the leader of the household, and yes, you lead from your feminine. But there's some people who do better and who feel better as equal partners, where we kind of, we're doing things together. There's no, the buck stops with me, as in, say, traditional relationships.
Right.
The idea, though, that some people want to force a particular style of relating on the whole group, to me, is where I think we're running into problems. So, another thing, something that you're mentioning is having healing conversations.
That's true. Definitely. I'd say like we're doing right now. You can't really expect to get to the yolk if you don't break open the shell of the egg. So it's like when it comes to conversations like this, of course you'd have to be delicate. Thoughtful. Because these are heavy topics. So.
And it's heavy topics. It's also topics where you're talking about power. You mentioned earlier that when people hear the word submission, a lot of them just clam up because there is a fear of losing your power and your control. I think about the movie The Color Purple. Mr. was the man in the movie, and then Celie poor Celie had to be distraught with Mr., who was technically her husband, right? The masculine of the relationship. Yeah. But how did he express his masculinity?
In a very harsh,
brutal way.
Yeah.
So there he is, harsh and brutal, and she's supposed to continue in her femininity the way he thought femininity had to be expressed.
Right. It's a tricky situation.
Yes, and if you're a whole human being, you don't want anybody coming and completely just subsuming your role to be able to have your own agency, your own individual personhood.
Right.
You know, and so I do think there need to be more conversations about this. I think therapy as well. How do you think therapy on an individual basis might help?
On an individual level, it can help you find the root issues in your life, causing you to behave certain ways with your relationships with others and yourself.
And yourself.
That's the most important one.
And yourself. I think more inner child work has to be considered, because we need to get to the root of why it's so important to some of us to have dominance over other people, or to manipulate other people. For those people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna break his hand. But what are you creating? You want an ATM, or you want a partner to build with? You know, if you want an ATM, you know, maybe you don't need this man. That the first thing you're looking for is for him to pay your rent. I mean, is he your father? A lot of women with, that's another subject right here, daddy issues, are looking for men to pay the bill for the father who left them. You know, so now they want the experience of somebody covering them, and men, my poor son might be the one paying the price for your poor son.
Right.
You know, so we have to do the work, inner work, therapy, individual therapy.
Yeah.
To see where we are with that. I think we also need to redefine what strength is for men.
Yeah.
Because that hyper hardness, what could you miss out on as a man if you were just hyper hard the whole time?
I mean, good intimate relationships, real connection with people, you know. I know I've missed out on relationships where women have offered their heart to me. And it's like, because I'm so focused on trying to be stoic and trying to be like other people, that it's like I end up missing the mark. I end up not being who I'm called to be, who I want to be, you know.
So we got to build new models of relationships. Yeah, like what does it mean to be able to express your thoughts and your feelings in relationship in a way that you as a man, you can feel safe. Yeah, you feel comfortable, you feel okay doing it. So I think it costs us a lot. I think we pay a lot. Like you say, we lose relationships, we lose good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lose good people. Children lose good parents. Because if you can't make that work in a relationship, you end up with single parent homes, you end up with divorce. I think a lot of men just suffer in silence. I don't think that's healthy. Reparenting ourselves is a good way to cleanse that, transmute that. What else? When it comes to relationships, like what is your intention? What's your highest intention for the kind of relationship you will create?
The highest intention for the relationship that I will create is that we can continue growing together and being students of life.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, and the lowest intention I'd say is, at the very least, if we break apart, like if we split up, like let's come back, regroup, and like make things work out, like heal it.
So maybe go off, right? So we splintered off, but maybe we could go off and do our individual work and somehow, you know, reconnect. Hopefully people can do that within the relationship, because there are cycles in a relationship, you know, where you go from that initial high, the honeymoon phase, to that power struggle, which is a part of a relationship. And if you do the work in the third phase, where you take action and you learn the skills, hopefully you don't break up, but you can do that within the framework of a relationship to come to the next phase of grounded, secure love.
Right.
Yeah. So what's an affirmation that we want to offer y'all? One affirmation we
have here is, I release the masks that silence my truth. I honor my softness, my strength, and my sacred balance. I am becoming the ancestor I needed.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm becoming the ancestor for
needed.
my children and grandchildren and great grandchildren that I needed. Yeah. That's a good one, Tere. That's a good one. I think this episode feels a little cerebral.
A little bit.
But I think it's maybe our attempt to talk about this highly charged emotion-inducing subject in a more thoughtful way.
Yes.
Yeah, perhaps as a start. So, yeah, I think we've inherited some things we never asked for, but
yeah, definitely some things we never asked for.
But with the generation, I think, that needs to stand in the gap, do the work, and unlearn these things. Yeah?
Yeah.
Unlearn them. We're not perfect. We're not trying to be perfect. But we're trying to be, I think, free. And to become freer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, from the seed to the
roots.
Let's keep
digging.
Let's keep digging, man. Let's keep digging. Let's keep healing. Let's keep loving each other forward.
Yes.
All right. So, y'all, thank you all for listening. Perhaps you can consider, what is one way you've seen toxic femininity or toxic masculinity show up in your own life?
Right.
Yeah. And what you want them to do? Like, they can drop,
I don't know, leave us a comment, definitely leave more comments. We appreciate those.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. Plus, you could DM us your story on the Instagram handle we have, The Seed and the Root, at The Seed and the Root.
Subscribe now on YouTube. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.